Hey everyone, I'm David Reyes, and welcome to Motorica Masters Living World Competition, where animators and game developers built dense, believable NPC crowds in Unreal. If you're wondering how they pulled that off, that's where Motion Factory comes in. Motorica's tool for creating and controlling character motion. It lets you really fill a living space without months of capture or cleanup. This round, contestants also got to play with Key Idle Pose, a new Motion Factory feature that lets you dial in exactly which idle pose characters settle into and when they hit it. These tools set the stage for our contestants, and I am happy to report that they delivered. Today, I'm sitting down with our first place winner, Michal Navrátil, cinematic designer at Warhorse Studios. His world had the strongest living city feel, with a sim-style ambition, characters with their own problems, and motion that still felt alive even when the camera pushed in close for the details. Let's get into that conversation. Very cool. In like a quick, brief minute, what would be like the first thing we should notice when we see your project? What was like the thing you were trying to make stand out the most?
I tried to make a bit of cinematic feeling. It's something I do as a living, and when I see that we are supposed to do a living world, I wanted to make it more interesting. I wanted to have actually even more than I did in my submit. Have the cinematic feel, have their quick time events through like cinematics, having a dialogue system through NPCs, so you could actually walk to the NPC and talk to them. So that was the main goal from me, and my submission is what I had time to actually do,
Gotcha.
which I think I still, in my opinion at least, I think I managed that. I tried to do the seamless menu to the game with the introduction cinematic and a bit of narrative through the radio cast, and in my opinion, I think at least that.
Yeah, I think it definitely came through. So you approached it basically like, I'm going to tell the narrative through the cinematic that you see as you walk through, and that was like the game plan.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was supposed to have some story, right? It was supposed to be a living world. It was supposed to be NPCs actually living in the city, doing things that you can talk to them as a normal people and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sold. We definitely got there, and you get to see like the daily life happening in the midst of things, and then like the narrative elements of what's going on in the background were kind of there. So yeah.
Cool.
Where did Motorica sit in like the Unreal workflow on a day to day? And like, were you like generating things, refining things, and assembling things, or?
I did a loop of all three. I first generated the first batch when I knew I need a male and I need a female basic walking, so I did just that as first batch. And then I just did as I needed to. So I felt like, okay, now I want a police guy. So I did that and continue doing that. And I was, okay, now I want a waitress. And so I did go do that. I think, hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Did I understand wrong? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you're good.
so yeah, I think the second one is was my approach. Yeah.
Okay, so just dive into what you needed, go back into engine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. What was the first moment in the project where it started to actually feel like they were, a place with actual people living in it versus just like a demo?
I think around the time I actually have the waitress system working to some extent, when I actually walked by and I just seen it like in peripheral vision and was like, oh yeah, it's starting getting together. So around that time, which was almost at the middle of the project, I would say,
Okay.
like a week and a half before we was supposed to finish.
Yeah. So it took time to populate everything out, but once you got that system in,
Yes.
that's you're like, the magic is happening now. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. The moment I was finally, because I could maybe jump a bit around. I didn't straight go in the world. First, I stayed in the level we was given, which was just the basic box.
Right.
And I did all the ideas that I had first over there. So I split it like the walls, and I put like, here I have tourists, here I have kids chasing butterfly. In the third box, I have the waitress. And that's where I actually did it. So when I did took one day to start populating the world, which was, like I said, like a week and a half before
Right.
the first submission, that's when I started feeling like, okay, this works. This is like, feels like live.
Yeah. So you basically stood them all up in the demo map, got it all working the way you wanted to, and then populate the
everything.
world.
Yeah. And
Nice.
after that, I started polishing and giving it more love as needed.
Yeah, that's a cool approach. Yeah, so your world had like a very Sims-like ambition with like the characters moving and having their own problems. How did you keep that readable when the camera was moving through the city? Was that like planned out as like a cinematic in your head, and then you just kind of like implemented as you went?
I must admit, I just use the existing system for the spectator
Okay,
blueprint that we had, which already has the cinematic feeling, with the
gotcha.
camera movement and
So
how
it
smooth
worked
it is. It
as it
just
needed
worked out
to.
about yeah.
Hey, I mean that planning meets what the tool did, so that's cool. Um, let's see what else we have. There are natural stops and player interactions that stood out, going past the default behavior loops. So, how did you set those up in Motorica and Unreal so it felt authored? Was that a lot of playing in the background in that demo map before you brought them over, or once you dropped them in, did you like refine where things were?
So stop me if I may misunderstood. Sorry, my
Yeah,
English is not the best.
yeah, all
Uh,
good.
so first I did, like I said, in the default level, I made sure it works. And after I just placed it, I had assistance for similar to the ones that was given to us when you have like the custom petrol pathing. I made some custom ones that, for example, trigger if NPC enters, which was the police guys. So they
Okay.
knew like, okay, someone entered my zone. Now I need to look at him and I need to like go away, right?
React. Yeah.
Kind of thing. So after I had that working, I put it in the living world when I set it up to fit my needs. So like, okay, I need this zone to be big like this, and the other zone can be only half size, blah, blah, blah. And that was my approach for like almost every system. Like I knew I had an NPC following a custom path, and entering zone will look at it. So I did go into the living world and started placing all the zones when I want an NPC to react to something like a billboard or a fountain and stuff like that. And
So you
that
used.
was my approach. Yeah.
So it was like the existing system.
Unreal Engine control rig, I changed the poses to fit my needs. So like a
I was going to
waitress,
ask about that.
like waitress animation. Unfortunately for Motorica has hand like this, so I needed
Yeah.
to fix that. I had a police guy, right? He's stopping you and he's like, stop, so I needed to animate that and things like that. Yeah. Otherwise, it's for the motion matching of the NPCs. I didn't even need to touch that. I used the
That's awesome.
new key idle poses feature that works amazingly, easy to use, and worked like a charm for me.
Awesome.
And yeah, like I said, just generated on site like one separated idle animation and in a loop when I animated specific.
So that's cool. So you were able to leverage a control rig in Unreal on top of the motions that you got out of the box from Motorica, and then adjust as needed from there.
So if maybe I don't want sorry English.
No,
so I tried to do that live, like so it would be like in a live game when the controller actually use it. But what I did is I use a sequencer to change it through the control rig. And
okay, so you modified it as an FBX in-engine, exported that animation. Yes, no, that's totally fair.
As I mentioned, I'm not a technical animator, and I tried to do that.
It would have been a lot tougher to do that live.
It's so hard.
I would have taken the same approach you did, just bake it as an animation, feel good. And how did Motorica help you achieve that? Like, oh, this feels like a good crowd. Because if you're watching a crowd and everyone's doing the exact same motions completely in step, doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with your lens of a cinematic designer, are there specific notes that you're looking to hit, like a certain amount of variation?
I mean, definitely the variations, the option that I can actually do quickly, easily, a lot of like different styles and import it quickly and use it quickly on the specific characters is big bonus. I love the way they actually, sorry, how do you say that in English? The interaction they have between each other on its own by default, by the files provided by you, when they actually don't clip through each other. They actually walk by. And this is something I hated seeing in many projects when I see like clipping shoulders of NPCs. Here actually, exactly. Yeah. And here they actually like interact and walk around each other. It was perfect.
Nice.
But now out of top of my head, can't think of anything else than these two. Yeah. I think from the beginning, to be fair. So if I understood your question is that what kind of part of my project I would show to my
To your lead, if
boss,
like
to my
if they
lead,
were
yeah, if
like
he
if
asks
they're
about the
trying to
project.
prove out the system, and you're like, this is the quality bar we can hit. Yeah.
If I could use my project, I would probably go from the beginning. I already have, as I explained, tried to do the cinematic feeling, so I have the intro
Right.
cinematic where we already can see like everything from the camera moving around the city, which
Yeah.
I believe already heavily present. That hey, it just works. You know, you can see the NPCs actually like living there. And the moment we even leave the starting area, you can already see the park full of NPCs, like looking at the beautiful fountain, the kids chasing butterflies. You look on your left, you see a police guy like sending people away, repairman fixing the electricity. And I think the beginning of my project, it would be my answer. Like,
Yeah.
I
So
could,
you hit all the beats you wanted to early on.
I
So
tried to do that
that's your
as,
snapshot.
yeah.
So that would be your showcase moment. Okay.
We talking about Motorica tools or
Yeah,
the
the Motorica
project?
tools.
The Motorica. So I had the advantage of trying that before, so
Oh,
I
nice.
knew what I'm somehow going into. I did try to see at the beginning of the project how hard it will be to do my own like pathing, which I realized would take me a bit longer, so I didn't dwell more into that. But it seems that someone, again, more skilled in the field on this specific thing would be able to achieve as nothing. So I unfortunately gave up on that. But for me, it was just natural, smooth. Like everything was there. The key idle pose worked out of the box. Of there was one issue that it's already reported, but you know when that's fixed, it will be like yeah. Where the other feature is much more like a specific to my needs than having like
Right.
300 animations, right? Of
Right.
specific motion. I definitely like feel the new key idle pose feature been a big help in actually achieving the final like transitions from the sets I generated to the like the NPCs that I have for waitress and the police people that I actually needed a lot of blending from the walk to the stop, and I could see the difference without it and with it, and I feel like that was one of the like this is one of the biggest updates that I seen from you guys in a while, in my opinion, at least to the motion factory like
Nice.
thing. Yeah, I
Cool.
don't know if that sounds
Yeah,
good.
no, that's
Could
fine.
be
I
as
think
Chris
the
or
key idle pose was a big new.
post that's gonna be coming soon, hopefully, are really huge. Like if someone like me who is not from the field, you know, like a technical animator, been able to just use it, and I did a lot of like sets. I did a lot of generated a lot of animations with it on ease. It was really smooth for me, and I think it's gonna be really huge when it's actually out of the beta. And
Yeah, I mean, if you can achieve that and that's not your main thing, yeah, I think you did good, man. Yeah. Thanks for your time and congrats again, dude. It was very cool.
thank you.
Submission.
Yeah, I'm still a bit shaking, like knowing when I get the message, the email, I was like so shaky, like what the